Good morning, everybody. I think let me check real quick, make sure we actually are live. It does. It says we're live. All right. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And my wife Robin is on the phone with me, so if you have any questions, just leave them in the chat. I hope everybody's doing well. We're going to do a coffee scoop today, and I'm going to go back over to the chat real quick and see. We're going to wait a couple of minutes before we get started here because I had it scheduled for 10 o'clock because we're going to finish this up and be done because by 11:30 because Mike Walt is going live. He's doing a off-center bowl, which should be really cool. But this, we're going to make a coffee scoop. And I'm going to try something different today on actually how to mount it on the lathe and hollow it out. So kind of curious to see how that works out. But if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and we will try and get them answered. And hey guys, how you doing? Australia, Spain, Finland, very cool. That's awesome. This is a piece of acacia. We did a bowl out of it a little while ago, and I'll switch cameras over here in just a sec when I start turning. But we're gonna turn the coffee scoop out of that. Somebody already said in the chat that it's hot and we should be doing an ice cream scoop instead of coffee, but we're in Oregon, so it's not that hot here. It's only going to be 83 today, which is nice. Not too bad. All right. Yeah, and Fred, you might have noticed I made you a moderator. Robin isn't feeling too well, so she might have to drop out. So if just keep an eye on the chat if you would for me, please. I will. She'll let me know if she has to, and I will let everybody know. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and true this up. And let me switch cameras over here real quick and give you a little better view of that. So it's a piece of acacia, and it is, hang on one sec. It is about 3 1/4 by 3 3/4, so it's not quite true, but we're just gonna go ahead and use a roughing gouge and true the whole thing up round into a cylinder, and then we'll put a ball down here on one end of it, make a little sphere down here on the end, and that'll be the scoop. All right, so I think we're all good to go. It's 10 now. Yeah, just a little after 10. All right, I'm going to go ahead and true this up, and I'll do that with a roughing gouge. And again, if you just came on, if you have any questions, just leave them in put them up in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And my wife Robin is on the phone too, so she's going to relay the questions to me, and then I can answer them as I'm turning too. All right. Let me wipe the dust off of this real quick. All right. Oh, this is nice. Very nice. Nice to see so many people from around the country and around the world. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and start this off probably about 800 RPMs, and then I'll slowly speed it up. And I just have the tool drop down a little bit. We'll get it, move the tool rest down so I'm not turning out here on the end of it. And now that it's getting close to close to true, we can crank the speed up on it a little bit more. So now I bumped it up to, it's about 2,000 RPMs. And this piece of acacia here, I cut it so that there's some heartwood and sapwood in it. So it should look really nice when I get it done. It looks like part of the actual cup is going to be multicolored. Got a little flat spot right there left. Get it. Yeah, I got it like that. So I think I'm gonna actually, once I get it true, flip it around so that the cup, the actual scoop part of it, is multicolored like that. So it's pretty close. I got a little bit more to go. I'm actually here. Let me switch to the other camera, and then I can show you. Somebody had a question whether I'm moving the tool or my body, and so I'm like this. I'm actually just leaning with it, just slowly moving my whole body. You don't want to be out here like this because you really don't have any control over it. So if you hold it up against your side, you can actually just lean and move along with it, and you get a much smoother cut than if you're holding the tool back here like this, trying to move your arm around. So whenever I can, I try and use my body. When I'm hollowing and stuff like that, I actually have to, move out a little bit. But if you can keep the tool up against your body, you have a lot more control. Somebody had a question, is this going to be a kit or all wood? And it's all going to be wood. Is the acacia green, Joshua? No, it's dry, and so it's actually nice piece of dry wood. So on something like a coffee scoop, you probably don't want there to be a whole lot of wood movement in it. So I would definitely go with something that is dry for a project like this. There's certain things, vases and bowls and stuff like that where you can turn green, but not like a lidded box or something like this where you don't want it to move. Cat, my favorite wood to turn is maple. I really enjoy turning maple. It's just, we have a lot of it here in Oregon, and it's some beautiful wood. Hello, Mike. How you doing, sir? We will be done before you go live. Mike is turning an off-center bowl today at 11:30, so stick around for that, guys. He's what kind of wood is Mike? What kind of wood are you going to turn the bowl out of? Have I ever turned mesquite? Yes, I have a couple of times. what are the best first couple of chisels to get? So it kind of depends on what you like to do, but I would go with a bowl gouge is one of the most versatile tools. As far as a beginner, if you want to get gouges, I would go with that. Oh, what, Mike? Sorry everybody. I thought Mike was on today. He's turning chestnut. All right. Never mind then. Mike will be on tomorrow. Disregard all that. I thought Mike who? I thought you were Saturday was your day. All right. Right? I don't even know what day it is. All right. So we're going to go with this. We're going to go, let's just do 3 inches for the sphere on this. Actually, yeah, that should be about right. So let me switch cameras back over. So I'm measuring from the end here, 3 inches out. So the live center has a little spur on it, so you're going to need to take that little point out. You're going to need to clean that up. So what we're going to do, instead of going 1.5 inches, we're going to go a little bit under that, because we're going to have to get rid of a little teeny bit of this. What's my opinion? What's my opinion on carbide versus gouges? I think they both have their place. I use both of them regularly. So they both do exactly the same thing. They shape wood. With the carbide, you don't need a sharpening jig. You don't need a grinder. You don't need to learn how to sharpen. With the gouges, it's just they do certain things better. Carbide does certain things better, so it's just kind of up to you. All right, so the reason I put these lines in here is because I'm going to make a sphere out of this. I'm going to round over both edges and make a little ball down here, and then this is going to be the actual handle. So that's going to be my center point, and I'll round over this side, and then I'll round over this side. Yeah, the negative rake worked fantastic for hollowing and doing resin and things like that. They work fantastic for it. What's a good finish for food safe? There's a salad bowl oil that works very well. I think it's by General Finishes. And most finishes are actually food safe once they cure. It kind of depends on what you want to do. I mean, if it's going to get a lot of use, even like a resin would be good, because it takes quite a while to cure, but once it does, it's food safe. I mean, you can't like run it through the dishwasher, but all right. So that little point goes in there, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so. And by doing that, we're going to eliminate that little hole that it created there. I'm just going to take down some of this material, and this is a spindle gouge, and we're about 2,500 RPMs now. Oop. Valerie, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you were talking about the shavings. Because I kicked them underneath the lathe. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I have a little rubber pad here, so it's easier to just push them all under the lathe for right now, and I'll clean them up later. We could have Mike come over and clean them up. I'm gonna move the tool rest down just a little bit. Get all that material down there. And I'll bring you back over to the other side here real quick. So even when I'm going down with the spindle gouge, I still have the tool right up against my body. And all right, Mike, have a good one. Have fun on the stream tomorrow. And then when I come over to the other side to go the other way, I still have the tool right up against my body. When you're starting out there, have your flute open like that. Have the flute open, and then slowly, and then roll it over like that. If you start out at an angle like that, it has a lot more chances of catching and running back up the piece. If it's open like that, it won't run. And at this point, I'm just getting off material. I'm not worried about the finishing cut or anything. Just kind of getting off a majority of it. I'm going to switch to a smaller spindle gouge and come around the corner here. And I'm just kind of eyeballing the cup here, or the ball sphere here, right here. See, make sure it's right. Trying to get it close to a sphere. We're not going to be able to make it to Maker Central next year, but we'll get over there. Hopefully, a year after we'll make it over. All right, before I get that down too small, I'm going to move right back over here and bring down this side of it here. And yeah, and then the sapwood's gonna disappear on this part of it, but the actual little cup is actually gonna be pretty cool. It'll have two different colors. And I'm not sure as far as where I want to hollow it out. What diameter do I aim for the size of the scoop? It completely depends. I'm making this one kind of large, just kind of basically because it's a demo like this, so it's easier to see. I've made them, you know, maybe 1.25 inches, some small ones, so it's completely up to you. And it really doesn't have to be used for coffee. You can use it for just about anything you want. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think if you were making a specific coffee scoop, you would probably want to do a much smaller one because it would be like one scoop would be, you know, for your pot, or 2 scoops or whatever. This one, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the actual measurement is. So, but yeah, I'm just kind of making a bigger one for the demo. On this one, somebody asked if I was going to use a spear cutting jig. No, I'm not. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to true this up as close as I can to round, and then we're going to actually use a waste block and hollow it out. We're going to put the scoop into the waste block with the handle sticking out here, and then that way we can hollow out the inside of it. But yeah, you could use a sphere jig, I guess, to kind of get it a little closer, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Thank you very much, Ken. Yeah, we will get over there. I think that got a little spot. Yeah, that's pretty close. All right, we'll bring the handle down a little bit more. And we're going to have a little bit of the sapwood left right here too, so that will be nice. And as far as the handle goes, I would leave a little bit more meat down here, and you can kind of decorate them however you want too. So. Alright, so I'm just shaping the handle right here, and if you have any questions, please just put them in the chat. My wife Robin is on the phone with me, so I can keep turning and answer any questions you may have. We're doing a acacia coffee scoop today. using the spindle gouge here to shape it. And then we're going to actually take the sphere part of it here and put that into a waste block. I'm going to hot glue it in there and turn the sphere part of it. Fred had a question about the lathe speed. So, Frederick, sorry. Yes, when I first started turning it and it was still out of wasn't true yet. I started out about 800 RPMs. Then I slowly bumped it up, and now we're about 2,500 RPMs on it. And you probably don't need to go much higher than that, but yeah, so what I normally do is I start it out fairly slow, because if it's really out of balance, it'll start to shake a little bit, and you don't want that. So I back it off. No, I pretty much, once I get it true, and if it's something small like this, I really just bump the speed up. I don't like slowly turn it up after I get it true, especially if it's something small. A little spot right down there like that, and I'm going to bring that down just a little bit so I don't have too much to cut off of it. And there we go. All right, it looks like I got a little spot right there. I'm going to go ahead and kind of get rid of that little hump right there, because it doesn't quite look true. And you can always take like a little cup or something to put it over it to see where you're at as far as making a perfect sphere. But that looks, one little spot right there. That all look. Yeah, this acacia is beautiful. It's beautiful wood. It's got some great grain in it, and I really like that little patch there. I think I'm going to make that the bottom, and we'll hollow it out here, so we leave all of that, so there's a nice contrast between them. All right. So recommend as a first lathe. Kind of depends on, Steve wanted to know what would be a good first lathe. So it really kind of depends on what you want to turn. If you want to do small stuff like pens and scoops and stuff like this, a mini lathe would be more than enough. If you really want to get into turning bowls and things like that, then you're going to need to get a little bit bigger lathe. But it just kind of depends on what you want to do. And most of the mini lathes out there are really pretty comparable. There's You know, I mean, there's some really cheap ones, you know, but I would I would kind of go in the mid range as far as lathe quality goes. I wouldn't get one of the, you know, really cheap ones, but you can always look on Craigslist and things like that too, because there's probably stuff like probably something on there. I'm a perfectionist. Oh, all right. Oh, hollow right between here, and then you would get, yeah, and then you would actually, yeah, and then the bottom of it would look like that. All right, Joshua, we just took a vote and you won. All right, so if you're making these, go ahead and at this point sand them up. I turn the lathe speed down. It's running at about 150 or so, and I'm actually gonna just kind of sand it real quick and get the any little tool marks or whatever out of it, and then I'm going to put the oil on it. I'm going to do that, or actually I'm not because I'm going to hot glue it. I just remembered what I was actually doing. I forgot for a second. And like all of the videos, this is the first time I've done this, so we're about to see if it's going to work. I've done a bunch of scoops, tried different little things, you know, where you you know, compression chucks to hold on to them. I've tried, uh, you know, a couple different methods on doing them, but I was thinking about it the other day, and I think the hot glue, because it holds so well, I think it's going to work great. And so we're gonna actually take a waste block, make a little cup in it, and then hot glue this into it, and then hollow it out. Hello, Donald. How you doing? Louisiana. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Hello, Philip. How you doing? All right. Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll hollow it out right there. Yes, it is Craig's fault. Started out with easy wood and uh, and a small jet lathe. Nice, nice. It really is. I don't know. I love. I've been a woodworker for a long time, and I got into turning in my mid 20s, and it's like it's just like this. I mean, I don't know how long we are. We're 30 minutes into it, and that was just a raw piece of wood, and we already have this much of it finished. Yeah, a giant baby rattle for baby Hugo. Yeah. Yeah. Richard, your lathe doesn't go this slow. Yeah, it's a lot of them don't, but I would just as far as sanding goes, I would turn it down as low as it'll go because if you're sanding at like 2000 RPMs, you're not really sanding anything. It's just skipping along the top of everything. So it's the slower you can slow it down. That's when you're actually sanding and cutting the wood. If it's spinning fast, it's not really doing a whole lot. Just kind of burnishing it. Oh, right. It does look like it. There's your ice cream scoop. We're done. All right. I'm going to bring this down just a teeny little bit here because I will have to cut this off by hand. Do I know of acacia that has a dark heartwood? I believe that's what this is. This is the heartwood. That's the sapwood. So I. Hello, Rebecca. How you doing? Thank you. All right, we're gonna cut these little nubs off, and you could do this on the bandsaw or wherever. But then we'll have to hand sand that little spot, and then we're gonna take this little one off down here. And I'm actually gonna turn that one down real quick. Hang on one sec. We'll get it a little smaller. I think it's all right. There we go. And as far as like hand sanding these ends, when I say hand sanding, you just I'll put a little pad on the lathe, so there's really you just put a piece of sandpaper on the Velcro pad and it works great. It sands them up quick. We'll do that real quick. We got plenty of time. These are really close. All right. Back that off a little bit. Slice this one off. Oop, there we go. All right. So there we have the basic scoop. I'll put a little Jacob's chuck on here real quick, and we'll sand up those two little spots, and then we can mount this thing on the jam chuck and hollow it out. Oh. Everybody having a good weekend so far? Enjoying the summer? Hello, Matt. Matt is all the way from Newberg, Oregon. Matt, you were on the show last week or a couple weeks ago. Newberg's about 4 miles away from me. So you didn't have far to go. All right. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Sticking on me. So these little pads, they actually make a bunch of different styles of them. So this one's a little stiffer. They have ones that are more foam, and they actually have little pads you can put on them to make it even softer. So this is another one. This is a little bigger one, and they work great for stuff like this. Let me put a piece of sandpaper on there, and it does a really quick job of cleaning stuff like this up. And still, I have the lathe speed down. If you put the soft pads on them too, you can actually like push it into it, and it just kind of wraps around them a little bit. Somebody just said William, that the sandpaper gets hot. And that is, William, that's because it's too fast. If you turn the lathe speed down, as far as you can, it won't get as hot. I always, my lathe goes down pretty low, but I always try and as slow as your lathe will go works best. Thank you, Jay. Seda. Oh, thank you, Seda from Tampa Bay. Thank you. I, all right. From Ken at Woodturner's Wonders. So he sells all these little sanding pads. That's the thicker one. This one's same thing, just a smaller diameter. And then I'll show you that real quick. Yeah, it's Woodturner's Wonders is the website. So they're all Velcro. So this is the normal pad that comes with it. And then you can put these little pads on it too, which makes it, that's what I was saying, it makes it even gushier, so you can just kind of push it in there and it wraps around it. And then the sandpaper just goes right on top of it. So they work great for cleaning up the bottoms of bowls and vases or whatever, or ice cream scoops. Yeah. So yes, Ken at Woodturner's Wonders. And all right, take this out of here. Yeah, I don't. How about that? Is that upside down or right side up? But you can. There it is, right there. His name's right on the bottom of it. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll take this out. And so on this one, as far as if I was doing this to I'm actually going to hand sand the rest of it once I get it done to finish it. But normally I would sand it all the way up to probably 600, and before I put a finish on it, and I would have sanded these all the way up to 600 too. So it was completely finished before I put it in the little jam chuck here. So go ahead and finish sanding it. The way I'm going to do it, you don't have to do it this way, but the way I'm going to do it, I still need this unfinished, so I can hot glue it in here and do that. So yes, yeah, sharpening systems, the CBN wheels. Yep, very cool. Yep. What grit do I normally sand all the way up to 600. So I go through all the grits all the way up to 600. What I normally do is I sand the first grit I will dry sand just like I did on that one, and then I start wet sanding with Doctor's walnut oil, and then I go all the way up to 600 with the walnut oil. All right. So what I'm going to do here is, this is actually a little bit smaller than that. So I'm going to take this and move it off center just a little bit. And I'll show you why I'm going to do that here in just a second. So this faceplate, this is just a 4x4, just pine 4x4. And I'm screwing the faceplate to it. And the reason it's off center just a little bit is because I'm going to turn out the inside of this to fit that the ball, and by putting it off center like that, it's going to create a hole on one little spot of it, and the handle's going to go there. down. And just using screws that don't go in too far. Let's go ahead and fill it all up. There we go. And it's just off just a little bit, but it's enough to where, oh, and it's the wrong size faceplate. Huh. Okay. We have to do a redo. Cut, edit, delete that footage. Huh. Anyway, how's everybody doing? All right. So, redo. How about the right faceplate for my lathe? And again, I just moved it off just a little bit. Somebody asked if I could, Brian asked if you could slice it in half. You could, but it wouldn't be a full 2 scoops, and it would make a kind of a weird handle. You know, it would be flat. It wouldn't be, probably comfortable. But yeah, you could slice it in half and get 2 scoops out of it, but I don't think they would be as nice as just doing one. All right, let's try this again. All right, and I'm going to actually leave that one out because it's right in that crack, and I don't want it to split it any more than it is. But it's just a waste block, so it's not too critical. Hey, look at that. First time. All right. Then we're going to come over here and cup this thing out a little bit. So on this, it's going to sound like a propeller spinning around. So you definitely want to stand back when this is going. But what we're going to do is cup that out just enough for this thing to fit in there. And then we'll figure out exactly where we want it so that the scoop is multicolored. And I'm thinking probably on that side. You see that? That one runs a little more down the center than this one actually goes off. So we'll probably have that at the bottom. We'll glue it in that way and then get rid of this part right here. All right. I'm not sure. Somebody said you could get the 2 scoops out of one if you had a bigger sphere. Made the sphere bigger. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Turn the handle on each side and then the sphere in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Hello, Brazil. How are you doing? Hello, Argentina. How are you doing? Daniel. Very cool. Hi, Ruth from Australia. So, again, guys, if this is your first time here, my wife's on the phone, so she is passing along questions to me. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So this right here is actually, let me bring this one, the other camera over so you can see what's going on a little better. Strapped on. No, it's just really heavy. Here, William will. Now it looks like a propeller. So this point here, this part of the wood is still solid. You can see we're off center just a little bit, so it's going to pop a hole into here. So just go nice and easy. Once you get out into this part right here, that's when it's going to start. You're not cutting solid wood. This is just regular solid, so you're not going to have any issue with it. But when you get out here, that's when it can't. You just nice and easy because you don't want it going into that air. And all we need to do is actually cut in just a teeny little bit so that the handle can come through. Hey James, how you doing? Wait. It's very cool. See people from all over. All right. I'm gonna turn the speed up just a little bit because I'm getting out there. So when you're turning, this one's a little different. This is more like a propeller, but when you're turning something like a natural edge bowl or something, the faster you can turn it, the less chances of it catching. So something like this, if you were turning this really slow, it'd be going kunk kunk kunk, when you get to the air part of it. So you can crank the speed up, the easier it is, less chances of it catching. I'm sorry, somebody had a question about the lathe motor? I don't know if it's a brushless motor or not. I don't know. I know it's actually 3-phase, and there is an inverter right down at the base of the two legs that it converts it back to 220 or down to 220. But it's a 3-phase motor, 3 horsepower. Well, thank you very much. Hello, India. All right. So I'm just going to that's about the right diameter, maybe a little bit big. So I'm just going to go down in the center more, and then we'll get down to where the handle hits just a little bit. Hello, Jim. Idaho, you're not very far from us. And we're gonna use hot glue on this, so it doesn't have to be the perfect shape of it, because the hot glue is going to take up a lot of the little slack. But just try and get it get it as close as possible. And so what we're going to do with this is, after I hot glue it in there and turn it, I'm going to take it in the house. Don't tell Robin, but I'm going to put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds and to release it. And that way, you don't have to, it would all be done, and all you do is clean off the hot glue that's going to be on the bottom of it, and you have a finished piece. Yes, as far as the longer piece, yes, I'm using the longer piece just to balance everything out. So, oh, hey Ruth, we're at home still. We were talking about going out here pretty quick though, but yeah, we're still at home. We haven't been anywhere in the mobile shop since. When? It was late February or early February is when we got back home from our last trip. John, what different chucks? I only have one scroll chuck, and that's the easy wood. But as far as like jam chucks and things like this, I just kind of make my own as I need them for a project. All right, we need to go in a little bit further. But as far as scroll chucks, it's just that one. That's the only chuck I have. If you were doing a bunch of these too, to where you were doing them all the same size, you could actually make a jam chuck like this that had the handle part carved out down one of the sides of it. So if you were going to do them all the same or really close, you could carve this chunk out right here for the handle, and that would actually just make it easier if you were doing basically the same size scoops. Oh, Jim's in Lake Oswego. That's not very far from us either. Really close. Well, very cool. Tell her happy birthday. Well, thank you very much. It's cost from the Ukraine. Very cool. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. It's like very flattering. Thank you. Yes, Terry made a donut chuck, and yeah, I've seen those too. Just where you make two discs and you just clamp it together. Those work great. I was just, I think I've done one of those. I've done the one where you put the little tenon on it. I can't remember. I've done a couple where you just clamp it into the chuck. Yeah, I've done quite a few different. I think that's good. I think that's going to work. Let me open that up just a teeny bit. What RPMs am I turning it now? Probably about 600. Yeah, it's not very fast. Hi, Van. Van from South Africa. How you doing? All right. All right, I think we're good to go. All right. Just gonna take let's take my knife and actually just clean that out just a teeny little bit so it sits down in there. Terry just said he used the donut chuck to turn the scoops. I did have a question. Does the donut chuck ever like mar it up a little bit when you clamp it together? I was kind of curious about that. Well, thank you very much. From Hawaii. Oh, very cool. Yes, thank you, Wesley. Appreciate that. I got a little bit right there. I need to get rid of. I want it to actually hit the bottom too. Hello from Iraq. Very cool. All right, I think that. All right, I think that will work. I think we're good. All right. So what we're going to do now is heat up the hot glue gun. And okay. Yeah, Terry, that's what I was actually kind of curious because I think I've only done one of them with the donut chuck, so I was kind of curious whether they ever got marred up. So what I'm hoping with this one is by using the hot glue is that it just holds it nice and tight. It's not going to screw up the wood. And then I'm going to unscrew the faceplate here and put it in the microwave for about 10, 15 seconds, and it'll release the glue, but then it'll be basically just perfect and not have messed with it at all because there is going to be actually a little layer of glue in there protecting it and padding it. Well, thank you, Chris. There's a lot of great turners out there doing stuff on YouTube. I mean, just some neat stuff. Let me switch. This is acacia, Andrew, and we got this when we were down in, I believe, Arizona. We were down there. That was the last mobile shop trip we took, and I can't remember who gave it to us. Why can't I remember his name? But yeah, it's beautiful wood and has some nice contrast. Hello, Germany. Leather or cork. Yeah. Both of those would work great. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do a lot of scoops. I mean, and two, a lot of it is while we're waiting for the hot glue gun to heat up, we can do a little Q&A. I don't do a lot of stuff like repetitive stuff, so I don't turn a lot of coffee scoops or a lot of bowls or something. But if I did, I would make a specific tool for it. Like I was saying, like something like this. If I was going to turn a bunch of scoops, I would probably put the handle there or make a donut chuck. Just a lot of different things. Most of the projects, like as far as the videos go, it's almost like we come up with an idea and I turn it, and then I don't ever turn one again for for probably 95% of them. So I'll make something, some quick little jig or something to actually turn that thing, but then it's very, very rare that I'll go back and make another one of whatever it is. But yeah, if I was turning coffee scoops, I would definitely come up with something that was more repetitive, and like the donut chuck thing looks like it works really well. This I was just kind of thinking, what way haven't I done it? So I wanted to try this, and hopefully it's gonna hold. We're about to find out. But yeah, it's. Oh yes, I'm sorry. I didn't. Somebody asked what type of wood it was, so I wasn't sure whether it was the scoop or the waste block. This is just a 4x4, just a piece of pine. It's not great wood for turning or anything. It's just to use a jam jack. But the scoop is acacia. Yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Chuck. Appreciate that. How's everybody doing there in Florida? My son actually is back there too, in Pensacola. Ruth, yes, yeah, turned full time. We're doing the YouTube videos, classes, teaching. Do a lot of demonstrations, things like that. So, yep, full time for about 5 years now, I think. Yep, yep. My opinion on the Laguna Reno. I've only turned on it a couple of times. It seems like a pretty good lathe, but I've only done a couple of demonstrations on them, and it was so like all together. I've probably spent about 2 or 3 hours on one of them. So it's kind of, you might ask somebody that has one, because that would be, they'd probably give you a lot more information on what they like about it, what they don't like about it. Terry wants to know whether you can release the glue with the heat gun. Yes, you can. So if you have a heat gun, you could release it. But on something like this, because it's down in there, I'm not sure how much heat you could get down in there. But yes, as far as using hot glue, like I normally do, to just glue it onto a flat waste block, heat gun works great. You can actually part it off too. How safe is hot glue? It is super safe. So this is, it's, I would get a bigger gun. Don't use the small little craft guns, but get a bigger gun. I think this one's a 70 or 80 watt. And this is regular hot glue. It's just crafters hot glue. You can get at any of the craft stores. There's nothing special about it. And I've been but the only difference is the gun is bigger. It actually really heats the glue up. So that's the key to it, is get a bigger gun. You can use any kind of craft hot glue though. So as far as how safe it is, I have been using it to glue chunks of wood on the lathe since the mid 90s, and I have never had a piece come off. It has never failed. I've had a catch or something, and it will break the maple waste block before it breaks the hot glue seal. So it's, as far as safety, I wouldn't or I would trust it. No matter, I would trust it completely. As far as somebody had a question about the different length of tool handles, and so it completely depends on what you're turning. I think like a standard good all around length for most things is probably about 12 inches. This one's about, I guess, about 13. So as far as doing, small stuff like this is a perfect size for it. If you were just doing pins, you really don't need the full size, but I feel more comfortable with them. I can hold it up against my body and still have it on the tool rest and everything. When you get into smaller stuff, if you're just doing little teeny things, then you don't need that kind of control. But if you're doing just general stuff, I wouldn't go any smaller than 12 inches. It's something you can put up against your waist. When you get into doing much larger things, I would definitely get a longer tool handle, and that way you have more support, more leverage. So if you're turning a giant bowl or something, you want to be able to have that leverage on it. And as far as catches and things like that, if you keep your tool rest about an inch and a half away from the piece, just the leverage from that right there where it's sitting on there, it's not gonna pull it out of your hand. It's when you bring the tool rest back here and you're turning a piece up here, when you're 3 or 4 inches away from it, that's when you get into problems. Is because if it catches, it's got all that momentum to actually pull it down. If you're right up next to the piece, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It just the force is going straight down onto the tool rest. So the closer I keep as I was turning that, you notice I just little bits. I kept moving the tool rest closer and closer as the diameter got smaller. But if you're going to do large stuff, definitely get a longer handle so you can actually really, really grab a hold of it. All right. Hello, Jamie. The warranty, that would be 7 years from head to tail. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make this the bottom of it. Let me switch cameras back here real quick. So I'm going to make this the bottom so that it's about half and half. So I'm going to put that end in there. And I want the scoop a little bit. If you pull it straight, it's just going to be a flat scoop. I want it actually to kick the handle out just a little bit so that the scoop, when we're done, is at a little bit of an angle. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna hot glue it in there just like that, and then I'm gonna bring tailstock up, put some pressure on it, and smash it together. All right. So, and there's the hot glue. I'm just gonna get some on it. Slide that right in there, get it lined up as close as I can, the handle out a little bit, and then we're going to put some pressure on it. So that's it right there. We're going to hollow out this part of it. It's kicked out just a little bit. I'm going to let it cool for just a second, but I'm also going to run a quick bead around it just to lock it in there. Would the negative rake help with less catching? Yes, and because it's less aggressive. So as far as turning resin and things like that, I've been using it and I haven't had a catch on resin since I started with the negative rake. So when you use them for like hollowing stuff out too, they're less aggressive. So generally when you're hollowing things, you're out over the tool rest a little further than you are when you're doing something like this. So it definitely, there's a little more downward force when it catches it too. So I would definitely, especially if you're going around the corner of a vase or something, put that negative rake on there. All right. So the hot glue, it takes a couple of minutes to set up, and because I can't pull the tailstock away here, we're just going to wait for that. So switch the camera back. If anybody has any more questions, you can see my smiling face. Yes, acacia is hardwood. Yep. Joe, does the hot glue affect the finish? No, it doesn't. It comes right off of there. It's kind of I'm sure you've seen like crafting projects and stuff like that. Where you can peel it off, and that's what it does. It peels right off. It might take a little bit longer to get it off of wood than it is, something else, but it comes right off. So it's not good. It's not soaking into the wood where it would affect the finish. Yes, it would be much easier to turn them in separate parts. But then the problem is, and I've done one of those too, where I turned the little cup and turned this, and it does work, but if you want the wall thickness of the scoop to be fairly thin, you really don't have a lot of material there to glue a tenon into the side of the cup. So you would have to make a little tenon on the handle and make a recess on the side of the cup, which means you're going to have to leave it thicker because you don't want that tenon sticking through to the inside because that wouldn't look good. So if you want a thinner wall scoop, then I would just do it like this, one piece. $5 fine for whining, and Robin's keeping track. So oh, Andrew, a dead center. That's old school. You're showing your age right there. I remember those. I High temp hot glue. I'm not sure what he means. Um, oh yes. So as far as the hot glue, it's regular crafting hot glue, but it's a the gun is more like you can get them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby now, but just get a bigger gun, a higher wattage gun, because the little craft guns that you put like flowers and stuff on it at Christmas and stuff, the gun doesn't get the glue hot enough. It just barely melts it, and that gun right there melts it into it completely melts it, so it bonds better. The smaller guns don't get it hot enough to really get a good seal around it. So definitely use a bigger gun. Yeah, and yeah, it just melts it completely, which gets it to bond better. Yeah, you could make a pipe like this, but I believe that the pipes are. Um, Somebody asked if this is how they make a pipe. I'm not Harry, because most of the pipes are curved, so I'm not sure how they drill it out. But if you wanted to make a pipe, you could actually just drill it out and then make a cup, but it would be straight. Most pipes have a kind of a curved the mouthpiece on it, I think. But yeah, you could definitely make a pipe like this. It would just be a straight one. Yep. Uh, has COVID affected us, Ruth? Um, you know what? We're here in Oregon, and we shut down pretty early, and they just kind of locked everything up. So we really don't have. We do have some cases. We don't know anybody, personally, as far as close friends and family, here that have it. And as far as Oregon goes, they closed it down tight, and we really don't have a lot of cases. It's Yeah, it's starting to go back up because they kind of started to open everything back up and it started to climb, but we haven't. As far as affecting us, we haven't been able to go travel around and do demos and things like that. But we're basically just we're working from home most of the time anyway. So oh, thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Um, all right. All right, let's turn this thing. All right. All right. Let me switch cameras back. Well, actually, no, let's just turn this one down a little bit. Hello, Belgium. How's it going over there today? Oop. I was playing with that and locked it up. All right, so now what we're going to do is bring this right up here and make sure it doesn't hit. Hey, Bobby, how you doing? Did you get your walkway done? All right. All right. Have I turned the used the Glenn Lucas tools? No, I haven't. I haven't used any of Glenn's tools. I used Thompson, D-Way, Easy Wood. I've turned with. I started out with Robert Sorby. That's what I had for years. Trying to think. I've used some different hollowing jigs and stuff, but yeah, I haven't used any of Glenn's tools. All right, I think we are about good there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put my face shield on and fire this thing up. Nice. Oh, all right. I'm gonna pull this back here, and I'm going to use the number 1 hollower on it, and so we're gonna get it all lined up. And when you're doing something like this, especially, make sure you spin the lathe when it's off and make sure it's not hitting anything. All right. So I'm gonna start it out kind of slow, but then we'll speed it. What did I think of the AEW symposium? I think it is fantastic. It's so cool. They had probably 3 times as many people as they do at a regular event. So it was so neat to be able to doing it online like that. Even when they go back to doing it in person, I still think they should do it the same way they did, or at least do it over Zoom as well, because you had people from all over the world being able to attend it that wouldn't have been able to. And even, from the U.S. that people can't afford to do it, can't afford to go. Yes, I love D-Way tools. That's the last video we did with the beading tool. That's a D-Way tool. Alright, we're going kind of slow. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So, well, this is actually nice on a hot day. It's got a nice breeze going. Somebody had a question about where's the cutter as regards to the center line. It is right on center. I was trying to get it really close. If anything, you might want to put it a little above center, but not below center. What do I think of the Nova lathe? You know what? I don't believe I've ever turned on one of the Nova lathes. I think for something like that, you probably need to talk to somebody who actually has one, because I wouldn't want to give you advice on it and then have it never turned on it on one of them. The other than doing you know, demos, you know, on lathes, and just for, you know, a couple hours or something, the only I've turned on a Delta lathe. That was one of the first ones I had. So I turned on those quite a bit. And then I had a Powermatic for a year or so. And then I had the Robust. So I had 2 Delta lathes. And then a Powermatic. I actually had a Craftsman lathe is what I started on. But nice. Very soon, right? Getting close. Have I turned a scoop like this before? No. It's the first time I've used hot glue like this. And what better place to learn than on a live stream, right? Right? I've seen a few people with face shields on. They seem to be older people who, you know, having a hard time wearing a mask, but they're wearing a small face shield. I haven't worn my RZ out though. I just have a little cotton one that it's just easy to slip on and off. All right. So I don't want to go too far there because I mean, I'll probably take about another half of that away, but I don't want to open it up too much. That should be about right. Maybe a little bit more. Winging it again. It's like every week we wing it. I don't know. Seems to be holding so far. There is a little bit of, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a little bit of chatter there. And I think it's probably because it's not you know, as close as it probably could be to the diameter, the pocket I made. So I think if it was a little better, you wouldn't get that much chatter. Yeah. I'll switch over to the negative rake and see if that helps it. That's awesome. Smiley face. So I need to remember to keep repeating what you say, Robin, because somebody said on the last live stream I seemed like I was crazy, like I was just out here talking to myself when they didn't know where the chat was. What speed am I turning at, Jamie? I think we're about 800. Hey John, how's it going? Oh, the chat wasn't posted. Well, why didn't it post the chat? That's bizarre. I'm not sure why it didn't. Well, that's odd. We did one earlier in the day in the chat. Robin just asked me, how do I know when to stop? Oh. Um. Well, I'm just going to do a guesstimation because I forgot to do a depth hole on it. No, Valerie, the vibration, I believe it's from the glue. Because I just don't think that it's seated in there, quite perfect. So I think it's just because of the glue, it's a little bit soft. I think it's just the vibration from that. I'm going to crank the speed up and see if we can't have some fun. Brad, what are you barbecuing? I'm gonna use walnut oil on it. I'll post some pictures of it. Oh, okay. I want to know what sorry, it wasn't Brad. I want to know what he's barbecuing because I'm hungry. No, as Terry is, I don't, pardon me, Perry? Oh, no, probably not. I would probably do a smaller one as far as the size of the coffee scoop. I just did it larger. It's easier to see in the demonstration than it is, if I made a teeny little one. And that's the only reason I made it this size. Right? Definitely good size coffee scoop. But you can use it for whatever you want. The next step after I get done hauling it, we're going to take it in the house and put it in the microwave to release the hot glue. Yes. Yes, it's only hot glue. And don't, I can't think of it, but don't underestimate hot glue. For a food safe finish, there's salad bowl oil by General Finishes, which is a good food safe finish. It works really well. What else is there? There's mineral oil if you're doing something like a cutting board or wooden spoon, stuff like that. Just straight mineral oil works great. I use the Doctor's walnut oil. It's all boiled. where we're at there. Got, yeah, I mean, I know it's down in there, so let's see exactly how far down we can go. Wes, Wesley, shh, don't tell Robin. So I can't remember. I was doing something. I think it was just in a video, and I use hot glue all the time. And somebody said in a comment, just put it in the microwave for like 10, 15 seconds. And so I tried it, and it worked fantastic, and just pops right apart. So I figured with something like this, where you have it all finished, you could just pop it in the microwave for a second, and you would be. It wouldn't hurt it. Who said to get a microwave? John, don't. See, you don't know how much grief you just caused me, because Robin's favorite store is garage sales. Summer is her season. We go to garage sales all the time, so that's just like a free pass. This afternoon we're headed out. She'll say, "You need a microwave." No, I've never turned on just a specific dedicated bowl lathe like that. But yeah, for bowl production, you get rid of just everything. It's just bare bones. Yeah, like I was saying before, I've never had a piece come off. This one right here is a little different than anything I've ever done with it before, but I use maple. Normally, I use maple waste blocks with them, and if I did it in a video one time. I hit the workpiece with a hammer just to show you how strong it was, and it just breaks the maple in half. But the hot glue joint held. Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you very much, guys. All right. Thank you, Valerie. Oh, Jamie, thank you, sir. Did I not mention the yard sale thing? Oh, we went for our walk yesterday, and there was a sign out on the street. It was a yard sale. It was Saturday. It was today and tomorrow, so I already figured we were going back to it. Oh yeah, that's why I scheduled the live, so we didn't have to go. I'm kidding. I love going to yard sales too. You find cool stuff there. That's where we found the bowling balls and yeah. I've always loved going to yard sales. I love yard sales and antique stores. All right, check that. Okay, Jamie, that's enough. Can Robin's a moderator and she can ban you anytime. I'm sorry. Who was that? William. I've never used those tools, so I really can't say. I'm sure they'll work fine. But yeah, I haven't. I kind of I'm old, so I stick with what I like. Kind of like the hot glue. Yeah, somebody wanted to know if it'll be up on YouTube later. Absolutely, yeah, it'll just be up and we'll leave it posted. This is the negative rake, but it feels sharp. I think it's just from the glue. Because that sound right there is vibration, and you can tell it when you get something. So I have like two things working against me. One of them is that we're away from the headstock a little bit, and that's just a piece of pine that it's glued to. So pine is not a good hardwood; it's soft. So there's a lot of just flexing going on with that piece of wood, and then I have the scoop just hot glued in here. So I got like three things that are I think are causing it. But we could try changing it real quick and see. Let me do that real quick. Hang on a sec. We'll just pop a new negative rake in. Then any other questions? So somebody just asked if I could use a vacuum truck, Douglas. So the problem with the vacuum truck I have is this: you need to make your own little cone things, right? So this one right here, again, it's like way away from the headstock, and then they're just little rubber seals on it. So, and this is just, it's plastic, and it works great for doing little things. I turn the bottoms of bowls and stuff all off all the time. But this rubber right here, can you see that? That flexes a lot more than that hot glue. So trying to hollow something out like this with that thing just bouncing around, it wouldn't work. If you made some sort of chuck for the vacuum chuck that was flat up against there and used a better seal than that, you could probably do it. It's just trying to hollow out something like this. That's a lot of pressure, and that little rubber seal that goes on my vacuum chuck would not hold it. Uh, is Andrew asked what carbide tools should you get if you're just going to get one. So, and I know this might seem very odd what I'm going to tell you here, but this tool right here is the one I would get. If I could only get one, it would be that tool. It's so versatile. You can shape the outside of something. I could have done the whole handle with this tool. I could have shaped the outside of it. There's little spots like coming around there and things where you would need, a skew or a parting tool or something. But you can turn around, shape it, and hollow it out with this one tool. So if I was going to get one tool, I would get this one. It's the number one hollower, and I use it all the time. Do I prefer Thompson or Dewey? They are both great tools. They're both great steel. I don't think one of them's any better than the other one. Uh, a few of the Thompson ones, like I really like that big spindle gouge and the size of the roughing gouge, but Dewey has it's as good a quality of steel as the Thompson. And they have some things over there that I like better. They have a super thin parting tool, the beading tools, all fantastic. How big is my shop? I think it's like 17 by 20. This little corner here you see all in all the videos is like, I don't know, 10 by 10 maybe. Maybe. But I on the other side of me I have my table saw, and it's not very big. It's just, but for turning you really don't need a lot of space. Yes, the negative rake is a carbide from Easywood. They're the only ones that make negative rake carbide cutters. Yeah. I'm sorry, I missed that one. Valerie wanted to know if a slot in the block would work better. I think it would. I think you could recess it in there a little bit deeper, and it would be back up against the headstock a little bit more. It did help a little bit, but you're still getting that. I'm not sure if we can hear that. But you're still getting a little bit of sound from it, and that's a brand new cutter. So it does seem like it helps a little bit. Alright, I think I need to go in there just a little bit further. Then we're going to try and get this thing apart. Okay. Somebody asked if you could sharpen carbide. Yes, the regular ones, but not the negative rake, because it has two angles on it, and there's really no way to kind of create. Yes, a donut chuck would work really well. You could actually make one. Terry mentioned that's what he uses. Yeah, and they work great. As far as something like this, getting a spindle gouge in there to clean that out. I don't have a little teeny bowl gouge, but yeah, you could use if you had a small bowl gouge or something. But it's actually cutting the wood too. I know everybody's kind of confused about that, but it's still cutting the wood. The ribbons on it are I know there's scraping over it, I guess, but I guess with the gouge is slicing it more. Oh, somebody wanted to know what tools I have like right next to me. So I have I have a little magnetic tray, and I have like calipers, depth gauge, spur centers, chuck keys, just kind of little odds and ends. Nothing as far as the depth gauge and stuff. But then on the back side of it, I have a tool rest or a tool caddy with just like I have my knockout bars and you know little little things, the little center punch, just kind of all that. But because it's like everything I need is right here, all my tools are there. Every little accessory is you can kind of keep everything right next to you. Why are the tools over $100? Oh, well, they're all made in the U.S. The cutters are all made in Chicago. Tools are all made in Kentucky, and they're quality tools. All right. Douglas, I want to know how long I've been turning. I've been turning since the mid 90s, so 20, 25 years. How old am I? Oh, great. One of these days I'm going to have to say 30 years, and ouch. um, oh, I forgot to sand this, so forgot that. What got me started turning? I've always done woodworking. My grandpa got me into it when I was as soon as I could walk. I was out there in the shop tinkering around with him, and he always had me hammering nails into 2x4s or whatever, making bird houses. So I've been woodworking since I could, basically walk with him. And then in my mid 20s, I went down hanging out with a buddy for the weekend, and he had turned a oak and walnut clock, and it was still on the lathe, and I don't know what it was. I just like thought it was just so cool. He just laminated the two pieces together. I had done some turning in high school, and made little things, but I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was about that maple or that oak and walnut clock, because I hate turning oak too. But that was it. I came home and tried to make my own lathe out of a motor I had. Ended up buying that little Craftsman out of the newspaper, and then found the Delta, and I've been turning ever since. I like how fast it is. I mean, literally, an hour and a half ago or whatever, we had just a raw piece of wood, and now we have a scoop. I like that. I love doing lidded boxes, and same thing. I can make a lidded box in about an hour, and just from a raw piece of wood to a finished piece. Sorry, Daniel. Have I ever used a metal lathe? No, I haven't. A friend of mine had one, and I went over, and he was making a couple of things for me, but I've never used one as far as like making anything with it. Nice, Tim. It is so much fun. It's, there's so many different things you can do with turning as far as projects goes. That's why I think that's why I love it too. It's just like there's always something you can something new you can do. It's not the same thing. Years ago it was everybody made bowls, and everybody made or lamps. I mean, I think that was the big thing in shop class. Everybody would turn a lamp. And nowadays, there's so many creative people out there doing so much cool stuff. You can see just the, variety of stuff that really wasn't there before. So I will tell you right now, next one, if I ever do this again, I would not kick the handle back like that. It just seems way too small. It just seems like it. I guess because of the size of it, I think the opening should be bigger, and because I kicked the handle out like that, it forced me to stop right there. I didn't want to cut into the handle, so that's why I had to stop there. It would have been a little bit bigger, so but the CBN wheels I use, the ones I have are from Ken at Woodturner's Wonders, and I think um, I know a lot of different people sell them, but I think his are probably the most reasonable on the price, I believe. Um, but I'm not 100% sure. I mean, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they all come from either. They might all come from the same place. Let me grab my drill real quick. Well, where do I sell stuff? On Etsy mostly. We have a Etsy store, so I put stuff up for sale there. Not all the time, but like all the sinks and stuff we've made, always put them up on Etsy. Um, I used to when I first got started, I sold everything in galleries here in Oregon. So I had a few galleries that sold my stuff. And then I used to do like craft shows and craft fairs and stuff like that. But I haven't done those in a long time. And I just couldn't keep up keeping with the galleries, keeping them stocked and trying to work and do everything. So I stopped doing that too. And now I just put stuff on Etsy when it comes out nice, because like I was saying, it's like just about every project is basically the first time I've done it. So, but if they come out nice, I put them up there. Abernet. Yes, yes. This I didn't hear Valerie's question, but she wanted to know about the sandpaper. Yes, I use Abernet sandpaper, and there's a link in the video description too. I can and everything, and the Abernet. What's the best? Douglas wanted to know what the best you wood to use for like a scoop or something. I wouldn't just about any wood as long as it's a hardwood, but I wouldn't use like an exotic wood like a rosewood or cocobolo or anything because a lot of people have allergies to those. And it could cause some problems. So definitely like maple or walnut, cherry, something like that, where it's you don't have people that are allergic to it. And as far as the walnut goes, I know people have peanut allergies, but it's not the same thing. The walnut isn't the wood. The walnut isn't going to give somebody a allergic reaction. Would I get a 1 inch or a 1.5 inch CBN wheel? Let me tell you, I would get the 1.5. They're both 1.5. I think the 1 inch that would be pretty small. Um, I don't think I've ever seen that, but um, yeah, I'd get the inch and a half. Yep. Oh, thank you so much, Donald. So sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's tough. Oh, I know. That was my safety tip. This is my pro tip for the day. Don't put a piece of wood with this faceplate still on it in the microwave. It's aluminum. That would be fun. Then we'd definitely be going to the yard sale. All right, I'm gonna run in the house real quick, chat with Robin. Actually, I'll have her say hi when I'm in there. I'm gonna run in this, throw this in the microwave. I'll be right back. I mean, it's not like I'll be right back. I'm actually still here. They can probably hear me. Yes. Hi. Okay, I'm coming back. What doesn't fully cure? Okay. I'm back. No secrets. All right. All right. I put it in for about 15 seconds and it didn't, it was still in there pretty tight. So I put it in for another 15. So it was in there for 30 seconds and then it just popped right out. Yeah. I think, who was it that said doing it split was better? Who was that? Okay. Well, I think it's good. It's actually, that looks great idea. Yeah. Looks cool with the two different colors. So this right here, you just kind of got to pick at it and to get it off, but it will all come off. It won't affect the finish when I start putting the oil on it. But yeah, I don't know. Yes. Do we have a good time on that? Yes. We love taking the mobile shop out. It's so much fun to get out there and just hang out, meet people, and just I don't know. It's nice. I love being out on the road. I really enjoy that. So I just enjoy that part of it. Traveling around, seeing different things. We've been able to with the mobile shop go just see some really neat stuff. Yeah, right before they locked everything down, we were on our way back from Phoenix, a show in Phoenix, the woodcraft there, and we got to stay in the ghost town for a couple of days, which was really fun down in California. That was awesome. Why was it? You have to go back and watch from the very beginning to find out why it was in the microwave. I was I hot glued the scoop in there to hollow it out, so that I went in and put it in the microwave to release the hot glue. That's why. Oh, but yeah, it's just something you slowly pick it off, and it will come off, and like I said, it doesn't soak into the wood, so it's not gonna affect the finish on it. But yeah, yeah, I'll get it all cleaned off. I'll put some pictures up on Instagram and let you see all that. And then I'll probably if you're not on Instagram or Facebook or anything, I'll put it up on I'll show it in the next video too. When will we be in Southern California? I don't think we have anything planned right now for Southern California. We've been doing a lot of remote demo stuff, but I don't know. I'm not sure if they know when they're going to start opening back up as far as clubs and things like that. Yeah, it's just kind of up in the air right now as far as I mean we're going to take the mobile shop back out, and travel around, do some stuff, but it won't be to an event because I think they pretty much just shut all of those down for right now. But when they do start opening back up, we'll definitely be back out. But yeah, love to get down to California. That would be good. We kind of go through it every year on our way to Phoenix for the show down there, but we haven't actually stopped and done anything yet. How much would a scoop like this go for? I'm not sure exactly. That probably depends on the wood, but I mean, a hand turn scoop, I'm thinking at least 30 bucks, right around there. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, I am going to the finish. Somebody wanted to know what finish I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Doctor's Walnut Oil on it. I just love the way that just richens up the wood. It all soaks into it, and it's boiled and food safe, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it really I like a satin finish, and not just on like things like this. I like that look, and that's why I sand with that all the time. Um, and if I wasn't gonna try this hot glue out, I would have sanded and finished it as I was going. So the whole thing. If I was using like the donut chuck for it, I would have sanded and finished it all long time ago. Yeah, but all right. It's all one piece. Somebody wanted to know whether it turned into one piece, so I put it in between centers and turned a sphere shape down here, and then turned the handle. It was all one piece of wood, and then we flipped around and put it in a jam chuck and hot glued it in at a bit of an angle to hollow out the inside of it. So yeah, but you could definitely do them in two pieces. I've done one of those before. It's just you kind of got to be careful on the wall thickness because you're taking the handle and putting a tenon in it and then gluing it into here. So you want that to be kind of strong. So you need to leave the wall thickness a little bit better for that. No, I'm not going to finish it now. I'm going to pick the hot glue off for the next 6 hours and raise the price of it $5 every hour. Robin wanted to know whether I was going to finish it right now. No, I'm not going to finish it right now. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, we're definitely, with everything going on, we're definitely doing a lot more demos and classes and things like that. And we've done a couple live streams in the last few months. Yeah. Yeah, but fun stuff. But thank you. I'm not going to auction it off till I get it done, Jamie. I'm going to auction it off just like this with the hot glue still stuck it. It's a DIY project. You clean it up. How much did the mobile shop cost? It wasn't so you really don't have to build anything. I mean I want to say I mean you have to buy a trailer, but the things that we did to it, we put some windows in, which those were $1,000. They were 500 bucks a piece to put those windows in. But if you're not doing it to do demonstrations like that, you don't need those windows. And things like we put the wrap on it, which obviously if you are just putting a shop together for yourself to haul behind your RV or truck to turn, you don't need all that stuff. All you really need is a couple of tools, your lathe, maybe a bandsaw and a generator to power them. It really doesn't take much. And especially, with turning, you don't need a whole lot of space. I did, I built some cabinets and things like that, but I want to say, you know, I'm going to say right around like 7,000 for everything that was buying the trailer, putting the wrap on, the windows, cabinets and tool racks inside, stuff like that. Yeah. 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 Would would bird's eye maple make for a good coffee scoop? Yeah, I think it would. It might have some little, the little pinholes in it from the bird's eye, or or if like it was a little bit burl too. Um, but it's coffee, it's dried coffee. A little, crystal getting down there isn't going to affect anything. It's not like it's going to, go bad or anything. Yeah, I think it'd be beautiful. Yeah. Our trailer, how big is our trailer? It is 14 feet, 14 by 8. So I got the wide one. It's 14 feet long, but it's a V-nose. So that gives you another 18 inches up front to put a cabinet in it. And then I got the one it's like 6'3" is the inside, so I can walk in there. I can walk in there, but there's about that much room over my head. So depending on how tall you are, you might have to get the taller one. We had to get that one. Otherwise, I'd be like walking around hunched over. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. Thanks. Oh, thank you, Chris. All right. All right. Well, I think we're done. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. And we'll have another project video next week. Not sure what we're doing yet, but we'll have one done. And yeah, we'll start setting some other stuff up. I'm putting together a Cryptex class, so we're gonna get that all finalized, and I'll post that on Facebook or Instagram too as well. And I'll mention it in the next video once we get it all dialed in. But really appreciate you hanging out. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later.